Are your legs starting to feel less reliable, even though you're eating well, staying active, and doing everything you've been told to stay strong? If you've noticed a slow but steady decline in your balance, strength, or endurance, it's time to take a closer look at something you may not suspect: your daily vitamins. New clinical insights, along with what I've seen again and again in older patients, reveal a hidden danger. Certain vitamins, especially the ones aggressively marketed to seniors, may be quietly eroding your leg strength, nerve health, and muscle stability. And because the damage builds slowly, week by week, month by month, it often goes unnoticed until daily movement becomes a struggle. You might think you're supporting your body, but some of these so-called health supplements may be working against you. In this video, we'll uncover 5 common vitamins that may be harming your legs after 60. This isn't rare, it's real, and you need to know. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. 1. Vitamin A. Too much of a good thing can quietly wear you down. As a doctor specializing in leg and mobility issues, I've spent decades helping older adults regain their strength. But recently, I've been seeing something both troubling and unexpected: seniors unknowingly weakening their legs with one of the most well-known vitamins out there. Vitamin A, something so essential, so widely recommended, now showing up in my clinic as a hidden cause of leg pain, muscle loss, and even dangerous falls. It's not theory, it's happening. Let me tell you about someone I remember clearly. Her name was Linda, 74 years old, a retired nurse from Indiana. For years, she'd been full of life. Walks every morning, gardening in the afternoon, always on the move. But then something changed. She told me her legs felt heavier than usual. Sluggish. By 3 p.m., her knees would stiffen and her calves burned. Even without exercise, she started skipping her walks, then her gardening, then even basic errands became a strain. Her doctors had checked her joints, ruled out arthritis, and told her everything looked fine, but I saw the signs and we ran the right blood work. The results were clear. Her vitamin A levels were far too high. Linda had been taking a high-dose multivitamin every day for years, thinking it was good for her skin, eyes, and immunity. But what she didn't realize, and what many people over 60 still don't, is that vitamin A is fat-soluble. That means your body stores the excess. It doesn't just pass through like vitamin C. It builds up in your liver, in your tissues. And over time, it starts to do damage. In Linda's case, the muscle tissue in her thighs and hips had become inflamed. Not from injury, not from overuse, from a vitamin she trusted. When vitamin A accumulates too much, it begins to interfere with 2 critical minerals, magnesium and calcium. These are essential for your leg muscles to contract and release properly. Without them, you start to feel cramps, spasms, tightness, and that deep ache that no amount of stretching seems to fix. It doesn't stop there. Vitamin A overload has been shown to weaken bones too. especially in the hips. That's a double risk for seniors. Fragile bones and unstable muscles. One slip, one misstep, and you're facing a fall, a fracture, maybe even a long hospital stay. Linda was lucky. We caught it in time. She stopped the supplements, worked with a dietitian to rebalance her intake, and started to regain some strength. But I'll never forget what she told me. If someone had warned me sooner, I might have avoided all of this. And she's not alone. Every month, I see more seniors in the same quiet crisis. They're trying to do the right thing, taking their vitamins, eating fortified cereals, doing what they've been told, but no one ever explained the risks of too much, especially when it builds slowly, quietly, over years. And the truth is, vitamin A isn't the only one. There's another vitamin, one even more common, more praised, and even more damaging to your legs if taken the wrong way. Let's move on and talk about that next. 2, vitamin D. Balanced properly, vitamin D can be a gift to the aging body, but in excess, it becomes a quiet threat. For decades, vitamin D has been celebrated, called the sunshine vitamin, praised for its role in strengthening bones, supporting the immune system, and maintaining energy, and in the right amount. All of that is true. But what many older adults never hear is how too much vitamin D, especially in supplement form, can begin breaking down muscle strength and leg function slowly, silently, and often without warning. I remember a patient from New Mexico, a 70-year-old retired paramedic named Robert. He had spent his career helping others and was always on his feet. Even in retirement, he came in with a new complaint. Not pain exactly, but a strange heaviness in his legs. I can't make it up the driveway without needing a break. He said his calves burned after just a few minutes of walking. His thighs felt like stone. At first glance, he seemed healthy. His weight was stable. His blood pressure was fine. But something deeper was off. When we reviewed his labs, the answer emerged. His calcium levels were alarmingly high. The reason: a daily megadose of vitamin D, 10,000 IU, he'd started taking 6 months earlier, based on something he'd read online. He'd never tested his vitamin D levels before starting. I just wanted to protect my bones. He said, everyone says more is better. But that wasn't the case. Because vitamin D is fat soluble, it doesn't wash out with water like vitamin C. It builds up in the body, especially in fat, muscle, and organ tissues. At high levels, it causes the body to absorb and hold onto more calcium than it needs. That extra calcium travels to places it shouldn't, like joints, kidneys, and the delicate soft tissues of the legs. And in older adults, the impact can be especially serious. In Robert's case, the muscles in his legs were stiffening, not from age, but from calcification. His tissues were becoming rigid. His kidneys were under pressure. He was experiencing swelling in his feet by evening and needed to rest more often just to keep going. What he thought was helping him hold on to strength was, in fact, draining it. And I see this far too often: seniors taking high doses of vitamin D5, 0.000 IU or more daily without supervision. Without testing, the body slows with age. Kidneys work harder. Tissues recover more slowly. And the margin between help and harm narrows significantly. A single bottle of over-the-counter pills can quietly disrupt months of stability. Thankfully, Robert recovered. We stopped the supplement. With medical guidance and physical therapy, he began moving more freely again. But the process was long. I just didn't know. He told me I was trying to do the right thing. And that's why this conversation matters. Because vitamin D isn't the only supplement that can surprise you. The next one may seem even more innocent, marketed for heart health, even longevity, but it carries hidden risks, especially for the legs. It's time we looked at that next. 3. Vitamin A. The antioxidant you've been told protects your body might be quietly stealing your strength. For decades, vitamin E has worn a golden halo in the world of supplements, promoted as heart-healthy, brain-protective, and anti-aging. It quickly found its way into medicine cabinets across the country, especially among older adults wanting to stay sharp and independent. And while it's true that vitamin E plays an important role in cellular repair and immune defense, there's a side to it that rarely gets mentioned. When taken in high doses, especially in supplement form, it can quietly chip away at your leg strength, balance, and coordination. I think often of Elaine, a 76-year-old former nurse from Oregon. She came into my office with a calm presence, but there was concern in her step. I don't feel stable anymore, she said gently. I'm not dizzy. I just don't trust my legs the way I used to. Elaine described how her knees felt wobbly when she stood from a chair, and how her evening walks had become shorter and more hesitant. She hadn't had a fall, but she felt like she was always one step away from it. We went through her routine: hadith, exercise, sleep. Nothing alarming. But when we got to her supplements, a red flag appeared. Every morning, without fail, she had been taking an 800 IU capsule of synthetic vitamin E. It was supposed to help my heart, she explained. I figured the more the better. What she didn't realize, and what many seniors don't, is that vitamin E in high doses can act as a blood thinner. It reduces clotting, interferes with vitamin K, and when stored in excess, it disrupts nerve signaling and circulation to the extremities. In Elaine's case, her body was quietly showing the signs: reduced oxygen to her leg muscles, poor microcirculation, and low-level inflammation around her capillaries, all of which caused delayed muscle response, weakness, and a rising sense of instability. It wasn't pain. It was a quiet unraveling of strength. That's what made it so dangerous. She didn't know it was happening until she couldn't stand up from the couch without leaning on the armrest. We scaled back her supplements, replaced the synthetic vitamin E with food-based sources: spinach, sunflower seeds, avocado. And within a month, she was back to her daily walks. She even joined a balance class at the community center. I thought I was protecting myself, and she told me, but I was slowly losing ground. It's a powerful reminder that more isn't always better, especially when it comes to fat-soluble vitamins. They don't leave the body easily. They build up, and when they do, the effects are subtle at first, then they take over. And unfortunately, vitamin E isn't the only one. The next vitamin I want to share with you hides behind an orange label, often paired with big promises about immune support and energy, but for aging muscles and tired legs, it may be doing more harm than good. Let's look at that together. 4. Vitamin C. We've all grown up hearing that vitamin C is a must-have. It's the go-to supplement for immune support, a shield against colds, and a supposed booster of energy and vitality as we age. For many seniors, it feels like one of the safest choices on the shelf. But sometimes, even the safest habits can carry quiet consequences when taken too far. That's what happened with Joseph. A 76-year-old retired mechanic from Michigan. When he came into my office, he looked frustrated and exhausted. He said, "I don't know what's going on. My legs feel like they're tightening. Every time I walk, it's like my muscles don't belong to me anymore." Joseph had always been active, the kind of man who still did light yard work and prided himself on keeping up his morning walks. He hadn't changed his routine. There was no sign of arthritis or diabetes, but the discomfort in his legs was constant. After looking through his labs and going over his daily habits, the answer became clear. Joseph had been taking 500 milligrams of vitamin C daily for the past several years. He thought he was doing the right thing, strengthening his immune system, giving his body what it needed, but he didn't know the other side of the story. While vitamin C is water-soluble and usually flushes out through the urine, high doses over time can upset the body's mineral balance. In particular, they reduce the availability of magnesium and potassium, two electrolytes that muscles rely on for proper function. When those levels drop, muscles begin to cramp, tighten, and fatigue more quickly. Joseph's blood work showed low potassium and signs of early muscle strain. His legs weren't giving out because of age. They were reacting to an overload of a supplement he'd never thought twice about. Even more concerning, excess vitamin C can contribute to kidney stone formation, and in older adults, that's more than just a painful inconvenience. Stones affect the kidney's ability to filter properly, leading to fluid retention. For many seniors, that swelling settles in the legs, making them feel heavy, achy, and sluggish, exactly the symptoms Joseph had been experiencing. Once we adjusted his intake, cutting his dose to under 250 milligrams and encouraging whole food sources like citrus, strawberries, and red peppers, his legs began to feel lighter. Within weeks, he told me he'd started walking longer and even trimming the bushes again. What he thought was aging turned out to be a fixable mistake. Joseph's story isn't rare. I see this often, especially in seniors trying to do everything they can to stay well. But more isn't always better. And sometimes the real danger isn't what we lack, it's what we've unknowingly overdone. And as surprising as that sounds, what we're going to cover next is even more serious, because the next vitamin doesn't just affect the muscles, it can directly harm your nerves. And those symptoms are often mistaken for something far worse. Let's look closely at that next. 5. Vitamin B6, the nerve supporter that quietly drains your strength. For years, vitamin B6 has been praised as a must-have nutrient essential for nerve health, mental clarity, and mood stability. It's found in nearly every senior multivitamin on pharmacy shelves and is often included in high doses under the assumption that more means better. But what many older adults don't hear, and what too few doctors emphasize, is that long-term high intake of vitamin B6 can slowly become toxic to your nervous system, quietly damaging the very nerves responsible for balance, mobility, and leg strength. One patient who comes to mind is Walter, a 3-year-old retired park ranger from Montana. He came to see me after nearly falling twice in the same week. He wasn't in pain, but something about his legs felt off. They're numb, but not completely. He told me, like, I can feel them, but I can't trust them. Like I'm walking on pillows. Walter had no history of diabetes or spinal issues. His heart was strong. His circulation was good. But as we reviewed his supplement list, something jumped out. He had been taking a B complex, multivitamin, and an energy support capsule, each with a hefty dose of B6 combined. He was consuming over 180 milligrams of vitamin B6 every day. And he had been doing this for over 4 years. What Walter didn't know, and what most seniors aren't told, is that vitamin B6 in high doses becomes neurotoxic. It gradually damages the peripheral nerves, especially in the legs and feet, leading to a condition called sensory neuropathy. At first, it feels like tingling or pins and needles. Then comes the numbness. Over time, the communication between your brain and your muscles starts to falter. The body still tries to move, but the signals are misfiring. The result is weakness, poor coordination, and a growing fear of falling. For Walter, this meant giving up hiking trails he once knew by heart. It meant saying no to weekend trips with his grandson, not because he was tired, but because he no longer trusted his own footing. What made his case even more heartbreaking was that he thought he was doing everything right. I figured if it said nerve health, it must be good for my legs, he told me. But in reality, the excessive B6 had been quietly undermining him day after day. This kind of damage doesn't show up all at once. It builds over time, and most people don't even think to question the vitamins they take every morning. But even doses over 100 milligrams, just 5 times the recommended one, 7 milligrams for men over 60, can lead to long-term nerve damage if taken without supervision. Fortunately, Walter caught it in time. We stopped the supplements immediately, shifted his intake to food-based sources like salmon, potatoes, and chickpeas, and began a targeted rehabilitation program. Within a few months, he had regained some stability. His get improved. His confidence slowly returned, but not everyone gets that second chance. If your legs have been feeling strange, numb, weak, or unstable, and you haven't found a clear answer, it may be time to examine what's in your medicine cabinet. Sometimes the most dangerous substances aren't labeled as threats at all. They come wrapped in the word healthy, hiding in plain sight. Now that you've seen the 5 vitamins that can quietly undermine your strength, it's time to ask a deeper question. How many of these are a part of your daily routine without you realizing the risk? Because what comes next might just change the way you think about supplements and your strength for good. Let's keep going. How many of these healthy vitamins are hiding in your daily routine? If you've stayed with me this far, then you've just uncovered something most people never hear, in time not from their doctor, not from the pharmacist, not even from the label on the bottle. You now understand how even the most common, widely trusted vitamins, when taken in excess or without proper oversight, can quietly erode muscle strength and slowly weaken the legs that carry you through life. And for older adults, this isn't just a matter of stiffness or soreness. It goes deeper than that. This is about independence, about standing up from your favorite chair without help, about walking to your kitchen without grabbing the counter, about feeling safe and steady enough to hold your grandchild's hand instead of the handrail. In my practice, I meet people just like you every week. Thoughtful, proactive, trying their best to stay strong and well. They weren't careless. They weren't ignoring medical advice. They were simply caught in a trap that's become all too common in today's world. The idea that more is always better, especially when it comes to supplements. The truth is, the supplement industry is largely unregulated. Over-the-counter pills often contain doses that far exceed what an aging body truly needs. And when you start stacking a multivitamin with an immune booster, a sleep aid, a joint formula, maybe even a brain pill, you may be doubling or tripling the same ingredients without realizing it. That's where things start to go wrong. The signs don't always shout. Sometimes they whisper. A subtle feeling of heaviness in your legs, a little more fatigue than usual, an ache that lingers, a stumble on a step that never used to be there, and before you know it, your muscles are weaker, your balance is off, and your confidence is shaken. But this doesn't have to be the end of the story. In fact, this could be the beginning of a new chapter. Because once you know the risks, you can take back control, you can begin again more informed, more careful, and more in tune with what your body truly needs. Start by checking every supplement you take. Don't just glance at the front of the bottle, read the fine print on the back. Add up how much you're really getting each day, especially of vitamins like A, D, E, B6, and C. Then bring that list to your next doctor's appointment. Ask for a blood panel. Get clarity, get confirmation, and most importantly, get peace of mind. If you've already noticed changes in how your legs feel, don't ignore it. The earlier you recognize the signs, the better your chances of turning things around. Muscle can rebuild, nerves can recover, strength can return, but only if you take the right steps at the right time. Because living well after 60 isn't just about staying alive. It's about staying upright, confident, capable. It's about walking into the kitchen, the garden, or the arms of someone you love without fear or hesitation. And that's exactly where we're headed next. In the following video, I'll walk you through how to rebuild leg strength naturally without dangerous pills. Using food, movement, and 3 simple but powerful daily habits. You'll learn how to reverse age-related muscle loss and feel steady again. One step at a time. If this video has helped you, even just a little, I'd love to hear about it. Please leave a comment below with the number 1 if you found something valuable today. If not, leave a 0. Every bit of feedback matters. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content designed with your health in mind. Thank you for being here, and here's to walking strong, living wise, and aging on your own terms.